Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So today we're hanging out in my laundry room because I'm having an issue with my dryer. So the problem with the dryer is, let me go ahead and I'll show you. If you turn it on, okay, that all sounds fine. You're able to go ahead and select whichever cycle or program you want to run. Let's just go ahead and here up to normal. And now when you hit go, normally what happens, right, is you hit start and the drum is going to start spinning. It's going to start heating up and all that kind of good stuff. But now when I push this button, you're going to hear absolutely nothing. You might hear a tiny little click, but that's it. So let me be quiet and you can watch. I'll push the button and then listen for this little tiny click. Did you hear that tiny click in the back? But more importantly, it's not doing anything at all, right? It's just sitting here and you'll watch, this number will start to count down. Right now it's 44 minutes left in the cycle and it will count down a little bit and then eventually it'll actually go like, I think I've seen it go 44 down to 43 and then I think it realizes something is wrong and the number drops right to 1 and then it makes the noise like the cycle is over. So long story short, nothing's happening, right? The drum's not turning, nothing's heating up. This is basically kind of busted. So that's the problem. Let's go ahead and see if we can take a further look at this. Okay, one thing that's kind of interesting about this is if you open this up and you try to spin this drum, it's actually quite easy to do. And in fact, I was spinning it and I actually heard, it almost sounded like something fell off or like there's a belt that goes around this drum and I suspect it has something to do with that because I think I even heard it slip off. Or let me just show you how easy this is to move. You see how that moves very easily? So I'm wondering if this has something to do with the fact that maybe the belt on the drum has fallen off or maybe the tensioner has busted itself and is not tensioning the belt properly. So long story short, we're gonna need to go ahead and take this guy apart. All right, so we're gonna need to take the dryer apart to get at the insides to diagnose what is wrong. Now, I made actually a completely separate video when my dryer broke the last time. The last time actually, right, the thing was actually spinning, but it just wouldn't heat up. So it turned out it was a broken heating element. So I made a completely separate video, which also included how to disassemble this. So I'll link to that in the description of this video. And in fact, if you want, just watch the timestamps that I'm showing on the screen right now. That will cover the turning off the water, unhooking it from the wall, disassembling the front, taking the control panel off, all that kind of good stuff. So I don't want to repeat that here, so just feel free to watch that if you're uncomfortable unhooking and disassembling the dryer. But if so, let me get it to that same point where I stopped in the last video and we'll go ahead and take some next steps. All right, so we didn't have to go too far to see what the problem is. So all I did was take off this top lid and you can see this is where the belt is supposed to be riding, right? So in this groove, you can actually see where it has worn a little bit of it here. So as you can see, there is absolutely no belt at all. And in fact, that's probably what I heard when I was rolling this drum around. I heard something kind of slip off to the side. I bet it was this broken belt falling off to either side of the drum. So I'm like 95% certain at this point that this is the problem here, is that basically the belt broke or something happened with the tensioner down below. So long story short, maybe this is a quick way to show that, yeah, if you get to this point, you see this, you pretty much have nailed down your problem. So let's go ahead and keep disassembling this guy and see if we can get access to the drum and the belt and the tensioner. All right, so this is the state that we disassembled to in the other video. So now let's talk about the new disassembly steps that we're gonna have to take. We're gonna basically get this entire front off so we can access the drum. So let's start up here. Let's get, yeah, this screw, that screw, and that screw. So 3 of these, let's get them off and see if we can get this box a little bit free and out of the way. All right, so now let's go and get this front part off. So I think it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's get that off and see if this entire assembly will kind of come free of the frame. All right, so this guy is pretty darn loose, ready to come off. So the thing we're gonna have to do is kind of get some of these wires. These wires, you can see, are sort of tied up to the metal frame here. Here, there's a couple other spots. So let's see if we can get it loosen these guys. Basically, I think you just have to kind of untwist these creatively and see if we can get the wire detached from this metal spar. All right, so we've got that pulled off. So now same thing, let's just go ahead and unplug the wire from here. I think this is the light. And again, just gotta take off some of these wires, and then this entire wiring package, we're just gonna kind of drape it over to the side. Maybe I'll go get a clamp and clamp this to the frame just to get it out of the way, but not stress the wires. All right, so those electronics are out of the way. So now let's move our attention down here and let's get this guy off. So I think it's just a couple of these screws around, and let's see if we can get this guy off next. All right, so we got him up, and it's kind of interesting. I think I'll take a moment to clear out this blower slash suction motor with lint. And then let's go ahead and unplug that guy. And then I think we're ready to take this main sort of face off. And again, that should just be a few of these screws around the face. And then I think that will come right off. All right, so I got this front face off. It's kind of interesting. You can kind of see two of these little wheels on ball bearings that the drum rolls on. So let's take this front face, push it off to the side. I'll set it down over here. And now this drum, I believe, will just kind of, I think just come right out. There you go. Look at that. That's like surprisingly easy. Okay, so we can get this drum out. Maybe I spoke too soon. Okay. There you go. The whole drum comes right out. So let's set this off to the side and take a look. All right, so with the drum out of the way, let's go in here and take a look. So, yep, I think, aha, here it is. Look at this. Here's the belt, and aha, look at that. That is indeed the culprit. Look at that. That belt is totally broken. So it has broken and slipped off. So let's take this out. Yep, there's the busted belt. So here's the problem. This thing has just gotten old and snapped. So I think all we gotta do is just find a replacement belt, and hopefully we'll be back in action. Again, maybe now will be a good time to clean this up, and maybe we'll take a look here at this tensioner here, this idler. I've seen other people where this part had worn out and that had caused a problem. Looking at this guy, he looks pretty good. I don't see any real issues. He spins nicely. Yeah, see, this guy moves up and down. You can almost probably, you can even hear, I think there's like a little relay. Yeah, there's a relay back. Let's see if you can see that right there. I think that's probably telling the system that there's no tension on it, which is why the thing would not start. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's go ahead, clean this guy out and order another belt and then see if we can reassemble. All right, so just to notice, yeah, on the old belt, there's some markings here that will tell you what to look for. Oh, here, I think it's over here. Yeah, so what is this? 5PH2337. So I just basically went on the internet, looked that guy up, and ordered the replacement part. So here it is, $10, and yeah, pretty simple. It's this dryer belt. So let's go ahead and unpack this, wrap it around the drum, and then what we're gonna end up having to do is get this wrapped around, here's the motor, right? And you can see this spindle has grooves. So the grooves obviously need to line up with the grooves on this belt. You'll notice one side of the belt has the grooves, the other side is smooth with the labeling. So anyway, we're just gonna have to hook that up appropriately and make sure that the tensioner is on properly. Yeah, we should be good to go. So tell you what, let's get let's get the belt on the drum and get the drum back in place, and then we'll talk about the actual routing of the belt around the motor and the tensioner. All right, so let's get this back on, making sure to seat the drum on those rollers in the back. And I've discovered, yeah, an easy way to do this is to hold the drum using the belt. So let's go ahead and get this guy in. Now we just got to position him on the rollers in the back, and hopefully we should be good to go after that. All right, so now comes the worst part of this entire process is you've got to reach down underneath here, and we got to get the belt looped around the motor and the tensioner. So the configuration, I know there's no way I'm going to be able to get the camera in here to show you. So here's a picture of what it should theoretically look like. And as you can see, all we're trying to do is get it wrapped around the motor and then have the tensioner pushing on the belt to, as the name implies, add tension to the system. So let me just go ahead and see if I can get this thing hooked around the back, and we'll be back in a second. All right, so we got that on. So now it's just a matter of basically reassembling everything. So we're just gonna do everything in reverse, get all the pieces back on and get this reassembled, and we'll see if this works. So we've got it all put back together. So let's see, maybe we should quickly test this to make sure that it spins cleanly. Yeah, so it spins, and now you can see it's got a little bit more resistance because I think the belt is definitely on. So this feels a lot better. So let's go ahead and shut the door, turn this on. We've got everything hooked up, and let's go ahead and see if this thing works now. Aha, look at that! Now it's going. So there you go. I think we fixed it. Pretty simple problem. It looks like the issue in this case was just nothing more than a broken drum belt. So yeah, $10 part later, a little bit of elbow grease to get this thing disassembled and repaired, and we're back in business. So with that being said, I think this is probably a great spot to leave it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, I also hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. If you scroll a little ways down and click on that little subscribe button, it really does help me continue making these videos. And remember, the new videos come out every Monday, so I hope I'll be able to catch you at one of these future discussions, and we can all learn something new together. So until then, I think I'll sign off. Talk to you later. Bye.